are live. My name is Emoji. I'm here with my co host, Nikki G, OMW, and we're bringing you something that we like to call Anime After Hours. Today we are talking Y2 anime, all things that were popular of the 2000s. Now there were a lot. There were a lot of shows that were popular during the 2000s. So I'm looking forward to that. We do still have our main show giveaway. I'll get into that in just a bit. And we have a special hidden giveaway if you guys as the audience are able to do that. So, if you look at the top, if you look at the nest, you'll see a series of posts that are up there. But one in particular is inviting a very special person to come and join us today. He goes by the name of Johnny Young Bosch. So, you as the audience, if you guys are able to get Johnny Young Bosch in this space at any particular time during the show, tag him, tell him to pull up, go in the comment section, tell him to come. If at any point his PFP comes into this space, that will unlock a second giveaway for you guys. All right. I will go into the main giveaway. That is the guaranteed giveaway once the show starts. But here's the special hidden giveaway. So feel free to do that during the duration of the show. And hopefully he comes through and hangs out with us. All right. Anything before I go into our partners message? Dub, Nikki, how you guys feeling?
I think you covered it pretty good. I do have the doors pinned to the top.
You
That's
did?
pretty much it.
Awesome. All right, and I'll go into what that is in just a second. All right, but before we do that, we also have to give a big shout out to our affiliate partners, VV Digital Collectibles. What are VV Digital Collectibles, you ask? Well, let's find out. Here we go. Hey, what's up? My name is Emoji. Hey, what's up? My name is Emoji, and I'm here with Nikki G and OMW, and we're bringing you Anime After Hours. But before we do that, I want to give a brief shout out to our affiliates, VV Digital Collectibles. VV is the world's home of premium collectibles, comics, and artworks from brands that you love, like Viz Media, Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, and more. Take your collecting to the next level with VV Digital Collectibles and check out the link in our description box below or use the QR code that you see on the screen for $10 off your first purchase.
This is an interactive show and podcast recorded live in front of an online audience. Those in the crowd on X are welcome to join in on the conversation, but know that all conversations that take place during the show will be published across multiple platforms. With this being a live interactive show and podcast, please be mindful of your speech.
And now, let's get back to the show. We are back. We are back. Nikki, while I set up a few things, we did start the pre-show off with your new cover of Izo, taken from Jujutsu Kaisen season 3. Did you want to tell us a little bit about that? Um, before I get into the other giveaway topics.
There's really not much to say. I mostly just did it because it was, popular. It was fun though. I really enjoyed writing the lyrics. I think I did really well with them this time around, and they kind of get stuck in my head a lot. So it's nothing crazy.
Was that a song that was in demand? Did you have like a high
It wasn't like it was in demand or anything like that. I noticed that what really the main one of the more popular ones on YouTube right now was an AI cover, and that really kind of pissed me off.
Mhm.
um, and I didn't like that, and I kind of and I noticed how popular the song was and how people how well the music video was doing. So I thought I would just throw my hat in and give it a shot. Luckily, there are some more regular people who covered the song, so hopefully somebody real will overtake that AI cover.
That's interesting because like I mean Jujutsu Kaisen is pretty popular, right? Like this season has been kind of like all over my timeline with just
I think it's not like super easy, like a super easy song to sing.
mhm.
So I had to transpose it up three semitones for myself because I'm not a guy, And then I mean it's fast. There's a key change in it. There's a lot of like backing vocals to make it like cuz it's like a full sound because it's actually two people singing the song, not just one person.
Mhm.
So and there's a lot of like the chants in the background. I had to do those like maybe 4 or 5 times like in different ways just to kind of get that full sound. So it's like it might be like intimidating for some people to want to try to cover it. Maybe that could be why I'm not seeing a whole bunch.
Okay. All right. Well, you did. So hopefully all of that comes to you, and people check that out. But I think you did an awesome job, and I really like the song. I know you were kind of like torn about it a little bit, or you wasn't really feeling it at first, but I actually did find myself like playing it a lot in my car. I will say it gives a different vibe when you listen to the entire song versus when you listen to the clipped version. That's the opening. I think the build up is better with getting to the chorus,
Mhm.
but yeah. But yeah, nah, awesome job. Let me just check in. Dub, you there? You good?
Mike checker, I'm good.
Hey, so I did send you the co-host. If you want to try and grab that now, I don't know if you want to risk it or not.
It's gone. It's gone.
It's gone. Okay, I'll send you that again, and it should hopefully that should allow you to be able to grab that. In the meantime, if you could pin to the top the video, the X live stream, I did post it. If you could throw that at the top once you're ready, I would appreciate that, and I'll go over the rules for the giveaway. All right. So everyone in the space, welcome, welcome, welcome. As I said before, this is Anime After Hours. My name is Emoji. So, courtesy of our partners of the show, VV Digital Collectibles, we do have giveaways for tonight. Well, we have one guaranteed giveaway, and we have a few possible giveaways. One of those giveaways is the pre show giveaway, which, in order to win that as the audience, you just have to get 24 people in this space. Unfortunately, we did not make that goal today, but no worries. Don't be discouraged. There is still next week. But there are two other giveaways. Okay, so let's go with the other hidden giveaway first, and then I'll go through the rules for the main giveaway. Now, this is a hypothetical, but if it happens, it would be pretty dope. If you guys check out the top on the pin nest, you'll see a post where I'm inviting a awesome voice actor that goes by the name of Johnny Young Bosch. All right. So if you guys in the comment section tag Johnny, tell him to come through, tell him to pull up. If at any point during the show his PFP pops into the space, and OMW and Nikki G will be watching. Me, maybe not so much because I'm on PC and it's glitchy. But if at any point his PFP pops into the space, that will unlock the hidden giveaway for you guys as the audience, right? But what's the guaranteed one, right? What is someone definitely walking home with today? Well, that is our hidden door giveaway. Where's my yays? Hold on, there we go. Okay, there's my yays. All right. So, yes, the hidden door giveaway, but we are doing a little things a little bit different tonight. So, I need everyone to pay close attention because there are some minor switch ups tonight in the hidden door giveaway than there is in a typical show. All right. Are you ready? So, if you look at the top, you will see hidden doors. Hidden door number 1, hidden door number 2, and hidden door number 3. You, as the audience, will choose what door we enter into by the end of the night. What door that you choose is going to be how we determine the winner of tonight's giveaway. One possible way of winning the giveaway, if you look at the pinned tweet, there is an event coming this Sunday, an event to challenge communities, an event to see who will reign supreme, a music event, but more than that, a story to tell. Yes, we have a Wave Wars event, the first ever Web3 community versus community battle involving the VV community, where two artists will go back to back, head to head, toe to toe. Those artists go by the name of Dope Stilo and Non Fungible Wonderful Pineapple Gang. All right. So, the first possible way of entering into the giveaway tonight is that post, that Wave Wars post that you see pinned at the top, liking and reposting that post. Not the space, the Wave Wars post that is pinned to the top. That is one option of how to possibly win the giveaway today. The next option is in that same post, the Wave Wars post. Leave a comment, tag one person, and tell us why Team VV is going to win. Any message that you would like, but support your team. All right. If that's the chosen method, then each comment is an additional entry. So the more comments you have, the more entries you have. So feel free to spam that comment section because that increases your chances of winning. Remember, this is all off the Wave Wars post. The third way of potentially winning the giveaway is by liking and reposting the live stream, which is also pinned to the top. That's the visual element. It's the only thing with the video that's at the top. Those are the three ways. I don't know what's going to be chosen because it's going to be behind one of the hidden doors, which you guys decide. So, by the end of the day, if you want to make sure that you're entered across the board, well, do all three. And that is our hidden door giveaway. And also remember to tag Johnny Young Bosch because if he pulls in, that opens up another one for you guys. What do you guys think? Did I cover everything, or do you guys have any questions?
I think you got everything.
Got
Yep,
everything?
same.
Okay. All right. Also, if anyone in the space has any questions, feel free to send up their request. We will answer questions at any time. But the topic at hand. Why to animate? And first off, I just want to say, like, I'm really kind of like proud of myself because I kind of coined that and I thought it was very clever. Are you guys got proud of me too?
I'm always proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But yes, I feel like, we've been talking, we've had different discussions as far as just um anime renaissances, so to speak, or things that just brought in a lot of people into anime. And I feel like the early 2000s, just that entire decade was huge when it came to just people discovering it. And even just looking at the selection of songs that I played during the pre-show, right? um Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Bleach, Naruto, right? Like classic anime that people readily recognize. What do you guys feel like? First off, like, was that era when you guys kind of came into it, or was it before, or talking about time
Well,
period?
Brotherhood was like 2009, so I was way before that. I was like 2003 maybe is when I got into anime.
Yeah, but even the main FMA.
Yeah, I mean FMA would be around that time. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, for sure. Toonami is when like Toonami really kind of exploded. You know, when they were showing like anime like right after school from like 4:30 to like 6:30.
Hmm.
That's probably when I got into it the most.
True, true. All right, so that was your era as well. OMW, what about you? Would you say that was pretty much like the typical time frame that you kind of like discovered anime?
I got into anime late '90s, so like before the Y2K fiasco, with
Hmm.
all of the big animes hitting mainstream.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I definitely remember those good old days. Yo, shout out to Nami, man. Shout out Adult Swim. If you know, you know, bro. Like there was nothing like coming home from school, throwing on some Toonami, kicking back with a bowl of snacks. I'm telling you, it was a different time.
Yeah, I have fond memories of Toonami because I used to spend a lot of the time watching it when I was in Virginia, because for some reason, like Cartoon Network wasn't on like your traditional like cable in Jersey. So I discovered Cartoon Network every time I went down south, and yeah, like just a lot of memories, right? Like kind of just watching that lineup, and especially when they had the remember when they had the New Year's marathon runs.
No,
Okay,
You
so
don't remember those, Nikki? Oh
no.
my
Toonami used to do New
goodness.
Year's, yeah, marathon runs where they would just run like anime for hours all night for the New Year's celebration. But that
I was hanging out with my mom, so I don't think I.
no worries, no worries. But yeah, so but even outside of okay, so you had the push, right? But then you also had, right, some classic shows that came out and shows that are memorable to today. Like Full Metal Alchemist is I'd say listed in a lot of people's lists is one of the greatest animes of all time. Would you guys agree? Or
Mhm.
up there? Yeah. Um, Full Metal Alchemist, Naruto was another big thing that brought people to anime. Bleach, who are if they are able to pop through, did the voice acting for Johnny Young Bosch, but amazing, amazing shows. What would you guys say? And also, this is open to the audience, so if you guys want to weigh in, feel free to send up a request. But what would you guys say was your favorite animes of that time period?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Before we get to this,
Okay.
I don't think emoji stressed enough that this is an interactive podcast. Yes, you can request to speak on stage and we can chop it up like the good old days. It's not just me, Nikki, and emoji up here. It is for everyone. If you're on X, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify listening back, make sure you guys tap in to the X Spaces at official emoji on X to be part of this conversation. So if anyone wants to chime in as well, please send up a request before the last 10 minutes of the show. Be greatly appreciated. Much love.
Definitely. And I feel like this is a topic that a lot of people would be, especially if you watch any, if you've remotely watched anime, right? This is probably the time period that a lot of the shows that came from. So yeah, definitely feel free to come up. But yeah, so what were some of the shows that kind of like stood out to you during this time period, like your favorites?
Well, like out of the big three, mine would probably be Bleach, though I didn't like how it ended.
Well, it's still going. You got Thousand Year Blood War.
Well, yeah, it's going now because they're picking up because they ended the original anime run and then now I think they're finishing up the manga,
Yeah.
which is what I didn't like how the manga ended.
Oh, okay. Got you. Got you. Got you. Okay, so Bleach was one of your favorites.
Yeah, I like especially like the Soul Society arc. I think that was probably like the two best, like the first arc and then the Soul Society arc. Those were probably my favorites.
That was when it started hooking me. Like in all honesty, like I didn't really care for Bleach at the very beginning when he was just like learning to be a Soul Reaper. But soon as they hit the Soul Society and just that those like battles, like everything that happened, I was like, oh, I actually really like I like this show. I rock with this show, and I was hooked ever since. But
Mhm.
yeah, Bleach was one for me that I really enjoyed. Any others?
Um, let me. Well, see, that's hard because we're talking about. Are we talking about anime that we saw in the early 2000s or anime that came out in the early
Came out,
2000s?
came out, came out.
Okay, so then you can't say anything that like
Or ran or had an extensive run in the early 2000s. So technically you could consider One Piece it because One Piece has run through everything. But yeah, just
You can't forget about shows like Samurai Champloo, one of the bangers of the early
oh,
2000s.
that is
yeah.
true. That is true. Yeah.
Absolute cook, like one of my favorites from that time, most definitely.
Gurren Lagann was also from 2000s, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Like, so are we doing like 2000 to like 2010? I'm confused by what
Yes.
we mean.
Yes, that decade. Yes, 2000 2010.
Okay, then yeah. All right. Yeah, Gurren Lagann for sure. I actually watched Gurren Lagann because well, the dub had Johnny Young Bosch and Yuri Lowenthal, who are like two of the best English voice actors in my opinion.
Mm.
And I was like, well, I'm gonna support them, so I'm gonna watch it. And it was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and that's like so weird. I don't know if you guys knew that, but a bunch of anime actually aired on the Sci-Fi Channel for a little while.
I did not
Really?
know that.
I didn't
Yeah.
know. I pirated it because during that time. And it's funny thinking about it right now because now we have access to so many like streaming sites and things like that. But a lot of like my anime recommendations, like when people would recommend things to watch, like I remember when someone recommended for me to watch Code Geass, it was like, all right, well, where do I watch that show? And you really had no, choice other than websites.
Well, when I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood,
Hmm.
the first time it was pirated, obviously, because they weren't translating it right away. So it was I watched every episode raw without any subs, and then I would watch the subs, and then I watched it in English, and then I watched it again when I got all the DVDs.
Wow.
How? Actually, that's a good point. Because I've done it before as well. But for you, how is it watching anime raw, like with no nothing, like you're just straight watching it in Japanese?
It's kind of just like you're just kind of going like the thing is I knew what was going on because I read the manga, so like I was able like you're still kind of able to follow along, but you're also kind of
Mm-hmm.
just going along with like feelings and just the animation itself and the feelings and the emotions of what you're seeing rather than really understanding. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like I said, I read the manga, so I knew what was happening, and I could pick up a couple of words here and there, so it wasn't like I was completely lost. I just couldn't wait, so I had to. So that's why I did that.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. No, I've done that with Dragon Ball Z. I think a lot of people that were because of just how long it took to actually like release over here.
Hmm.
Um, just watched it, raw and had like for me, I had no clue what was happening. I was just like watching the images and getting excited. But yeah, okay. So, Dub, what about you? What were some things that were your faves during that time period?
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna start with Fooly Cooly.
Oh,
Like
we
the
reviewed
best
that. Well, we had a show
like
about it.
the best 6 episodes from the early 2000s. Absolute cooker.
Why
Super
did
underrated.
why did that hit you? And it's funny because we had a whole episode talking about Fully Cooley, right? And I recognize one thing, like the animation being very, or just like the art style being very abstract and very unique, even for today, right? So I can only imagine what it was like during then. But for you, like, what were some things that hooked you
Oh,
about that
it
show?
was it was just so out of pocket. Like the show
Mm-hmm.
just literally made no sense. It was just crazy ridiculousness at all times. And then the ending was like it was pretty sweet. You were like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, okay. That's cool." So that's what I liked about it. It was just different. It was different, bro. And it was so short, you know. You could
Mm-hmm.
watch it in a month and a half, start to
Mm.
finish, which was like a beauty compared to watching 300 episodes of Dragon Ball or,
Yeah.
Yeah,
getting
well,
into that Naruto run and then the Bleach runs were just like crazy episodes. It was a
because
quick, easy watch.
Adult Swim would stick it in between airings of different anime. So like if there was a hiatus between like a dub coming out or something finished its run and they were gonna put another run in, they usually would put Fooly Cooly in that slot to kind of take up that time.
Mm.
So
Yep.
so I got a lot of rewatches because of that, and I think that's like one of the reasons it's stuck. It's also stuck with a lot of people because you kind of like you turn on the TV and you're kind of expecting I'm Inuyasha to be on or something, and then it's like Fully Coolly, and you're like oh well, let me watch this for the 18th time in a row.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
But
like yeah, so they would replay it a lot because of that because it was so short and it was kind of perfect to put in between a new show that was going to take up that time slot after.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys seen geez, what was that show called? Uh man. It's not oh goodness, it's that 90s. It's not Ghost in the Shell. It's not Samurai Champloo.
What is
It's
it
not
about? Like
Inuyasha.
what is it? What, give us a little bit of the like
What's the main character look like?
yeah.
Oh goodness, bro, hair.
Hair? That's
um,
Okay.
but in the meantime, another cooker that was like really underrated during that time
like mhm.
was Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple. I'm not sure if you
I
guys ever
like
seen that show.
Kenichi. Yes, I did. I actually
Bro,
did.
that show was
Yeah, I did
so
like
good.
Kenichi.
It was so
Um,
good. And then the Helsing series as well. If you ever seen a Helsing Ultimate.
Helsing is on my watch list. I haven't watched it yet. But I did watch. Speaking of which, during that time period, I think didn't Basilisk come out during that time too?
I think so.
Yeah,
Pretty
Basilisk
sure.
was one that I liked too. I actually own the DVDs for Kenichi. Um, Air Gear was another one that I liked. I like the soundtrack to Air Gear. I don't know if you've watched that, but it didn't really have an ending to the anime. It kind of just cut off, and I don't
Cowboy
think it's a.
Bebop. That's what it was. Damn.
Oh.
Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, that's also
Wow.
listed up there as many people's favorite anime of all time. But yeah, so here's the interesting because what
Oh, actually, Cowboy Bebop just before 2000,
I
so
was just
technically it doesn't
Oh,
count.
okay. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
but here's the thing that I was thinking about, right? Because you have a lot of anime or a lot of shows that came out, right? Before the 2000s, but they didn't come over here until the 2000s, right? In the lineup or didn't get discovered over here till the 2000s as well. Um so I think you're going to run into that too, right? Like I would say Inuyasha's in that boat. Didn't Inuyasha come out before 2000s?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it kept going into the
It kept going
2000s.
into oh, okay, got it. Yeah, so I feel like Outlaw Star is probably in that
Outlaw
group too.
Star seems like it might be 90s. Thinking about the
Looking
animation
at the
style.
animation, yeah. But I know, yeah. But
Didn't the first Hunter x Hunter come out early 2000s?
the first one?
The first one.
I feel like
Uh
maybe that. Let me see. Outlaw Star was 98, same time as Cowboy Bebop.
mhm.
Hold on, give me a second. Anime films, anime television, 99.
Okay.
Damn.
Close. Just made the cut. Just made the cut. But some other ones that I've seen recommended to, Death Note, Code Geass.
Death Note.
So lots of shows that came out during that decade. Now, question, right? In your opinion, in you guys' opinion, kind of like just seeing the landscape, why do you think? Because to me, it feels like, and actually, let's go to this. To me, it feels like some of those shows ended up becoming some of the most iconic, right? And that's why I use the word Renaissance, right? Because even to this day, um a lot of the shows that came out there to this day people may always refer to, or when people are asking, all right, well, what anime should I watch, a lot of times it's shows that were came out during that decade. Do you guys feel that? That's the first part of the question.
I mean, sure. I think in the West,
Mm-hmm.
I think the 2000s to the 2010s is really important because I think that's really when it started taking off here.
Mm-hmm.
More manga was coming over. Um, the dub, like I mean, we had obviously we had dubs and anime coming over before the 2000s, but I think because of Toonami and we were able to see it on TV like our regular cartoons, it kind of really brought that culture to us and really kind of started the anime culture in the West.
Okay. Dub, how do you feel?
I feel like the early 2000s was definitely very impactful for what anime culture is today
Mm-hmm.
in the West.
That's where the Naruto run came from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nikki's
yeah.
like, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
I mean, we had the
man.
Naruto run. You had the Haruhi Suzumiya dance that everybody did at the anime
Mhm.
conventions and that during that time.
Mhm.
The Caramel Denson. I mean, we had memes before they were even really known as memes.
True. True. True.
It was a special time.
Mhm. And I'm
Yeah, it
sorry.
really was.
Yeah, I'm sorry, OMW. I interrupted you with the Naruto run, but what were you saying?
Yeah, no, I think that it was very impactful for what the culture is today over
Mhm.
here in the West overall. I mean, some of these shows are, as you mentioned, like they're classics and they're cult classics. Like the people who've watched Foolie Cooley, right? You go back and you watch it today, you probably won't be as entertained, but
Mhm.
it's still going to have a place in your heart for what it did for the time, right? Just like everyone's
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, Michael Jordan isn't the best basketball player ever, blah blah blah, LeBron, blah blah blah, whatever. All right, at the end of the
Mhm.
day, Michael Jordan is still going to get his respect for what he did to the NBA during the time, right? Like
Mhm.
the world was a different place in the early 2000s when they were making these animes. The jokes that they were able to tell back then, they hit different than what you'll see over here. Like, bro, they'll get canceled for, half of the things that they put on those earlier shows. So
Mhm.
I think the Renaissance is a good word for it. Definitely a good
Okay.
word for what we have here, the early
Okay.
2000s.
Okay. Um, quick other question. I think we have is Nikki, your mic is hot.
Oh, sorry.
No worries, no worries. Um, so okay, so yeah, so 2000s Renaissance, right? But now looking into today, right? And kind of especially with, a lot of focus being on, the popularity of shows that came out during that time. Even when comparing it to things that came out earlier, right? Do you feel, in your opinion, do you feel there was anything special about the anime themselves, right? I know the push, like there was a massive push during that time, right? With especially with Western, shows and syndication, Toonami, things like that. But do you think that there was anything regarding the stories themselves
Yes,
that
100%.
okay,
100% emoji.
what
Because like
is
the
what is that?
stories the
Mm-hmm.
stories back then, right? Like yes, in today's day and age, 26 years later, it might seem very recycled,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to remember that before all these other animes were inspired by these OG shows,
Mm-hmm.
they needed somewhere to come from. And you're going to find a lot of those anime tropes and storylines and character building methods in these older animes, and now they're being recycled because the audience just understands like, wow, that was gold. So
Mm-hmm.
we're going to see it more and more and more, but they originated from these older shows, you know.
Okay, okay. Nikki, what about you? Do you feel that there was anything, outside of the push, right? Because obviously, the especially a Western push is going to bring more eyes, right? But do you
Hmm.
feel that there was anything different or significant about the actual stories or content themselves, as far as why, a lot of these animes, specifically during this time period, may kind of like always be referenced as the decades go by?
I mean, I guess there's a reason why Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece are the big three.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing numbers in Japan. They were Shonen Jump's biggest sellers during that time. So like a lot of people are like, the new big three, the new big three, but it's not the same.
Hmm.
It's never really going to be the same. They that big three was they were the big three for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that as much as like those stories probably took inspiration from older stuff, I think a lot of the stuff that we're seeing today is taking inspiration from them and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that they're always going to be like, you're always going to have people talking about Naruto, and you're always going to have people talking about Bleach, and you're always going to have people talking about One Piece. It's just, I think it's just the way it is, and
Mm-hmm.
they kind of cemented themselves in the culture for forever, I think.
But what about even outside of the big three, right? Because, even outside of those, you have massive, shows that came out during that time that people always reference. I know we, spoke of Death Note, which I know isn't your favorite, but it's still like a show that is constantly being brought up, right? Full Metal Alchemist, which is a show that I know you love, is also a show that's constantly being brought up. So even outside of the big three, like, do you feel that just that entire decade of stuff, Gurren Lagann,
I mean,
mhm,
of course that they're special. I don't think that they're more special than anything that's coming out now. I think
mhm,
it really just depends on what clicks with you.
mm,
I mean, people are there's some people who are probably going to fight tooth and nail that anime in the 2000s is better than what's coming out now. Everything now is slop or something, but I don't believe that's true.
mhm,
And so I'm not going to sit here and say like, well, it was more special because of this and this. I think that the people who are writing manga today are drawing inspiration from those things, and I think that the people who are going to be writing manga tomorrow are going to draw inspiration from what we have now, and everything's kind of a cycle, and we should just appreciate everything that's come before.
got it, got it, got it. I like that response. I like that response. Cause you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of the idea or the word, nostalgia,
Mm-hmm.
and how certain things that you grow up with, you have an attachment to, you have an affinity towards, especially if it's something that that kind of helped shape you or mold you,
Right.
and a lot of anime watchers today, and that's why I brought up as far as like just onboarding, right, and people being introduced to anime, right. A lot of anime watchers today, they got introduced to anime back then, right? Many people, Naruto was their first anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that kind of like it has is impacted where as far as that's where you fell in love, right? So you have that nostalgia. But I agree 100%. Like there is a lot of amazing stuff that's coming out now. And even that concept of the big 3, right? Which, may have
Mm-hmm.
originated then, it continues with the shows that come out now, right? And I mean today I would say, probably for me the big 3 would probably be like JJK Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia.
Yeah, the only like what most people don't understand about the big
Mhm.
three is that they're not talking about just like how popular they was. They're just talking about how much money they were it was making Shonen Jump.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't know if it's I they know Shonen Jump's never really said anything after that. I don't know if those three are is making as much. Maybe Demon Slayer now is making a lot of money, but I don't know if
Mm.
they're making the same altogether as those three were. Considering that
Yeah.
those three are still
Eh,
on today. You know what I'm
well,
saying?
One Piece is still making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, across across the board. So One Piece is probably never gonna lose that spot. Um, but yeah, like it's interesting, right? But I do think that obviously, that time period, what you said as far as shaping, it does, right? And we've seen that. And like even prior to that, right? People could argue and say that Dragon Ball is what shaped Naruto, or it
hmm
drew heavily influence, Naruto drew heavy influences from, from Dragon Ball. And
Like
mhm,
what a lot of people don't realize when you're looking at it from the manga side is that a lot of people who write manga, they have assistants, right? And
mhm,
those assistants go on to make their own manga. So in this case, in one case, Oda, who writes One Piece, he was this assistant for Watsuki, who wrote Kenshin.
mhm,
So like you have these people who are being influenced by the people they're working with, and then they go on to make their own stuff. I think
mhm,
I see something like the guy that wrote Don Da Don, and I think the guy that wrote JJK. I think they were all an assistant to another guy who wrote a manga too, and they all went on their own separate paths. So like you're in this kind of community where you're working with other people, and those projects that you're working on, of course, are going to influence you when you go on to write your own stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, and to seeing how it evolves, and even in the same realm, right? Like right now, even when you think about like an IP like Dragon Ball, now you have Toyotaro taking over the helm, right?
Hmm.
And obviously he learned under Toriyama, but now he's kind of gonna has been evolving the story into his own, and we'll see what that leads. But that's an example of someone working under someone, right, or assisting someone and learning from them, and now literally taking over that entire IP for their own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Rather than making
their own
something
thing.
their
Yeah,
own, like their own stories, like
yeah.
Oda did for One Piece. But
Hmm.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. There's a love there, and it's also kind of like what is shaped what we have today. W, do you have anything to weigh in on this as far as just the 2000s and why you feel like it has had its hold that it has even to this day?
The OGs are the OGs,
Hmm.
all right, and these youngins need to learn the respect from the OGs. That's all I gotta say.
But I
These
mean,
OG mangakas are
there's
legends for a reason. Put some respect, put some respect with a K on their name. I think that's how Birdman said it, right? Something
that
like
is
that.
100% how Birdman said it. Yes, you are correct.
um, but yeah, no, for real, like it's listen, they didn't get mainstream adoption for no reason. The
Hmm.
stories, they're golden. I will say this
Like
again and again and
like
again. For the
like
people who
K-pop
don't
Demon
watch,
Hunters Golden.
no, no,
Oh,
no,
okay,
no,
okay,
no K-pop demon hunters go. Listen, brother,
okay.
K-pop demon hunters need to put some respect on this anime genre. Okay, I'll say it again. Um, if you do not watch anime, you just watch regular TV, you're missing out
Mm,
on some of the greatest stories that have ever touched pen to paper or
mm-hmm.
screen to eyeballs. It's crazy. It really is crazy. And it all started with, these stories that we're experiencing every single week, or we used to experience every single week in the early 90s, early 2000s. Uh, y- y- Man, I don't have enough words to explain why anime from that generation was top tier. There wasn't there wasn't as much filler. The animation wasn't
In the two
phenomenal.
thousands,
Wasn't that much filler in the 2000s.
I would say there was
No,
nothing
the
but filler.
2000s was
Yeah, it
pure
was
filler.
all filler. it
Are
was
you
it was
sure?
filled with filler. Yeah.
Listen, the
Yo,
filler was so good, bro. I didn't
this
even mind watching the
yo, this
filler.
hold on. This is how bad it was, bro. It's
I'm not talking about
when
Naruto.
a
I'm not
show
talking about
comes
Naruto
out
filler.
and I'm watching something like, let's say I'm going back and I'm watching something from the 2000s and I know it's from that decade, I'm going to go to like anime filler, like I'm going to Google anime filler list and I'm going to watch it with that filler list cuz I know it's going to be chock full of filler. Like that
Yeah,
era was known. Yeah.
they had a different way of doing it than they do now. They kind of just kept going straight through. So in order to catch up with the manga, they would do filler, 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 and then eventually the manga would get far enough ahead that they could restart the storyline, and then do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes the filler would get them in trouble because it would be stuff that they have to now retcon and go back and fix.
Yeah,
But
like, or completely go off like the first Full Metal Alchemist, which is, they were like, they got to a point and she was just like, you know what, just go do your own thing because it's just not even worth it.
Bleach, Bleach, I believe it was Bleach. But I think Bleach had filler that had nothing to do with the main story. Like it
I
literally
believe it.
yeah, like it literally like there were it was either Bleach or Naruto. You know what? It might have been Naruto. But they would have, they would follow a storyline, and all of a sudden, the what you were watching just immediately just stopped, and it would go to a completely different thing. The same characters that were like, let's say like they were like about to die in some like, cave or something, like just an illustration. Let's say we're about to
Mhm.
die in a cave, right? And then very next episode they'll be hanging out in the village eating ramen. You'd be like, what happened? Be like, oh, this is filler. That's why. This has nothing to do with what we watched just yesterday.
I
Um,
mean, I
mhm.
mean, Kenshin's third season filler was so bad it got the show canceled.
Kenshin's third season. Yeah, yeah, that was
Wow, that's
sad.
crazy.
Have
Yeah,
you?
the filler was so bad that they didn't even want to like keep going anymore.
Yo, I just had an idea at some point, and we're not gonna do it. We could talk about it a little bit tonight, but I actually at some point do want to have a full episode where we just talk about bad filler. I
Yeah,
think that would be hilarious.
there's a clip from the anime Gintama which actually shows them explaining like filler in anime and manga, and it's actually pretty funny. There's like
Okay.
arrows and diagrams.
Okay. Yeah, we gotta run that. We gotta run that. But yeah, man, like yeah, that on dub, like that era was known for just yeah, real like hundreds and hundreds of episodes of just nothing to do with the main storyline. But what was I gonna say? Actually, before switching topics, how are we doing on the doors?
The doors is closed. We do have a winner. Um, Overwhelming response.
Oh, snippety snap. Okay, what's the door we're going into tonight?
We
Hey,
are heading
yo.
into drum roll door number 3.
Okay, let me go into the post that you sent or the thing that you sent in the chat. In the meantime, recommendations. What are some things if people wanted to dive in, because, once again we did talk about as far as this era being a a era that onboarded a lot of people, right? So I assume, I would assume that a lot of the anime is very welcoming, right, to new people. So while I look this up, what animes during this time period would you guys recommend for people to check out? And real quick, OMW, which store did you say? Three? OMW.
I think he did
Yes,
say
door
three.
number
Yeah.
3?
3. Yes, door number
Oh,
3.
okay. All right, all right. Yeah, so just while I pull that up, in the meantime, just tell us some recommendations that you would recommend for the audience.
Ooh, some recommendations. If I had to go back to the early 2000s era, I would say Samurai Champloo, absolutely fire. Has one of the best soundtracks in all of anime history, in my opinion. Once you start listening to it, you'll know. Just that first intro is a cook. Um,
I always like the ending song.
yeah, that was good. That was a good song too. Like overall, like start to finish, the episode was fire, and then like the soundtracks that they played during the show was also really good, really really good.
I guess if I would have to say one, I think that was like really culturally significant to the anime community at that time. I'm gonna have to say Haruhi Suzumiya, because that came out in like the mid 2000s, and it kind of like took over the anime world at that time. People were like filming themselves doing the dances. They were dressed up in cosplay. They were. I think that was like the first time they were really getting into light novels, because that's what Haruhi was based on. And I think it kind of really shows the time period and how like I think that was I don't know. I think it's just kind of like a really special anime. Sorry, my dog just dropped her bone on the floor.
No worries, no
But I think
worries.
it was really a special time period. That's
Okay.
what I would recommend.
All right, all right. So I am ready. We do have how we're going to determine the winner for tonight. Once again, I did say at the outset that the rules for tonight would be different. I did go over the rules at the beginning of the show. Um, we won't go over them again. But the door that was chosen was door number three. So, what was behind door number three? Let's get a countdown.
Five, four, three.
And if you feast your eyes to the live stream, which is pinned to the top, we will roll this in real time right now. Okay, so behind door number three, the way to choose the winner for tonight was by likes and repost of the pinned tweet, Wave Wars tweet. We are going to run that right now in real time. You do have to be here to claim your prize. Remember that? All right. Oh, snippety snap. Hurricane. Is Hurricane in the space?
Ooh, I do not see a hurricane in the space.
Nope.
Nope, me
Okay.
neither.
All right. We are going to roll it again. Let's see. Let's see. Stilo World. Is Stilo World in the space?
Ooh, Steelo World is not in the
All
space. Try
right. We
again.
will roll again. Here we
Good
go.
odds, y'all. Good odds.
Hurricane came up again. Once again, this is for likes and repost of the pinned tweet, the Wave Wars tweet at the top. Sham G. Is Sham G in the building?
Oh,
Yep.
Sham G is here,
All right, there we
aka Mr.
go.
India. Let's
Let's
go.
go. Sam, you have won the giveaway for today. The main show giveaway, the hidden door giveaway. Congratulations. I will post a I'll post it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll post it tomorrow. Um celebrating you as the winner and who to contact to gain your prize. All right. So, final question is at any point did we have Johnny Youngbush pop through the space? Did you guys see his handle?
Negative.
Negative?
Mm-mm, no.
Okay. All right. Well, better luck next time. And once again, it is important to follow the rules. And in order to know the rules, sometimes you have to be here when the show starts because that's when I say them. I don't like stopping the show to say the rules over. And I feel like I've talked enough with the rules at the beginning. But better luck next time. All right. 2000's anime. Any final words before we close things up?
I'm looking forward to episode 25. Let's go.
Hey,
Thanks for pulling up, y'all.
let's go. Nikki, any final words before we close up?
It was nice to have a little bit of a flashback.
It was. It was like nostalgic good old times, right? And next week we'll go into more of a current thing because we'll talk Fate, which I've been dying to talk Fate because I love Fate. And yeah, all right. So, Nikki, I want to play your song back for the closing, if that's cool with you.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So everyone in the space, we do close the show on a song from our very own co-host, Nikki G. She did just release a new song, which is Izo. It's the cover of the new Jujutsu Kaisen song for season 3. So we will run that again before we close the show, but I am going to close the live stream. Sit tight in the space. But everyone on the live stream, thank you for tuning in. My name is Emoji. I'm here with my co-host, OMW, Nikki G, and together we're bringing you something we like to call Anime After Hours. We do this every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the pre-show, 8 o'clock p.m. for the main show. Feel free to tune in. You can follow any of the X handles that you see at the top. And we'll be back next week. We'll be talking Fate Stay Night. So we'll see you. But until then, take care, be easy, and